In 2017, a new user was taking Reddit, one of the world's most popular social media platforms, by storm. A user who called themselves Deepfakes was posting images that looked real but were digitally altered. 90,000 followers later, Deepfakes was banned from Reddit, but the name stuck.
Imagine waking up one morning, checking your phone, and seeing that your friends are talking about a viral video that they didn't know you were in. Now, imagine that you also didn't know that you were in this viral video. That's because you were never actually in it. Someone took your picture from the internet and created a deepfake based on that one photo. With the recent explosion of artificial intelligence technology, it has never been this easy to deepfake someone or to be deepfaked.
5 years ago, I would have said the threat for deepfakes, particularly around non-consensual sexual imagery, is to actors, actresses, politicians, people who have a big public profile, because you needed a lot of data of them. Now, people can clone your voice and clone your likeness if you have a relatively small footprint. You've got some TikTok videos online, you've done a YouTube video, your voice is in an interview for your newspaper and school, and suddenly your likeness is up for grabs.
A mom in Pennsylvania is accused this morning of using so-called deep fakes to anonymously harass members of her daughter's cheerleading team.
I think I was just so much in shock with everything going on. I couldn't really comprehend what was going on.
It is thousands a month that you'd have to pay to have someone look through the internet endlessly and take down anything like this.
And the person that made that website, I'm going to fucking sue you. I promise you. With every part of my soul, I'm going to fucking sue you.
We've also seen them with female business owners. Women in child custody battles have had deepfakes of them pop up as well. We're concerned that they're going to start appearing among the high school set or the college set, really being used to target young women. The misuses of deepfake technology is probably only limited by the imagination at this point, and we really haven't scratched the surface of it.
The main problem with punishing those that create malicious deepfakes is identifying those individuals and tracking them down.
There is work at the federal level on passing more aggressive legislation to protect women. So there's some regulatory relief. The bad news is this does not seem to be a priority for law enforcement. The other bad news is if the people doing this are outside the US, there is very little, if any, recourse. And the really bad news is once something's on the internet, it doesn't matter.
It's very difficult because by and large it's anonymous by definition. They don't want to get caught, so it tends to be difficult, or they're offshore, in which case you can't do it. And you can't go after the platforms on which it's posted because of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act.
Section 230 was written in the 90s, and it was designed as what's called the Good Samaritan Law that would allow companies to regulate content on their platforms without being held liable for censorship or for failing in their moderation. But that's not the internet we live in today. The internet we live in today is being algorithmically fueled to suck you in, to spend as much time on the platform as possible, to extract data from you and deliver ads to get you to buy shit that you don't need. And so the shield of 230 has prevented companies from being held liable even when they knew what they were doing.
But not everyone thinks reforming Section 230 is the answer. The Electronic Frontier Foundation champions free expression on the internet for all, above all else.
Even if regulators can think of something, we're ultimately going to be relying on those who implement this to implement them in a way that we think is socially responsible. So I don't think we're avoiding the social responsibility question, even if we allow for some degree of regulation. Was there some user who made a very malicious use of a tool that a company provided? It seems that just merely providing a tool for the public to use that should not, as a general matter, create liability.
So I think if you are developing technology where there is a clear weaponization, you should be responsible for that. And there are things we can do. We can put digital watermarks into every single piece of synthetic content so that when it gets into the wild, we can track it. We can extract fingerprints from every single piece of digital content so that we can keep track of this content.
Having something at the bottom that says this is fake is not going to deter anybody from making it, and nor for the pervs that want to look at it from looking at it. And the harm is out there because somebody's take, for example, their face, their image has been placed in a context which is false. So that's not going to do it. But preventing it altogether, I have no clue how you would do that. I don't think anybody does.
But if the threats posed by deepfakes are not preventable, what does the future hold for our society's increasing dependency on AI?
We've entered this world suddenly where images and videos are no longer a definitive recording of the events of the world. And what that means is that it's very easy to deny reality because it is possible to manipulate an image or a video.
Very real national security threat.
Could impact the 2020 election.
Could become a real and present danger to our democracy.
What does this say about us, about our humanity? That we think this is okay to torture other human beings like this? I honestly don't know. And here's the thing is, I think we've always had this in us, but I think the social rules have sort of kept us together. You are rewarded on the internet for that behavior with likes and shares and retweets. And so it brings out the worst in us because of the anonymity and the safety of it, if you will, but also it's rewarding. You get rewarded for this because the other knuckleheads are telling you how great you are. This is not a world I want to live in. This is not, by the way, the internet I signed up for.
Produced and directed by Varun, Srikanth, and Alisa Gorokhova. Supervising producer, Cassandra Herrman. Technical supervisor, Chris O'Day. Special thanks to Jean Zamora, Misha Schwartz, and Maria Zafar. Made at UC Berkeley Graduate School of Journalism, 2023.